Scorpios, December energy is here, and the message from your guides that I'm getting is don't rush the ascent. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello, all. Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot Scorpios for December. And what a really interesting message to get for you about don't rush the ascent. I'm going to tell you that I was getting some other images, but before we get started, we are going to pull an overarching theme from the Sweet Ass Affirmations 2 from Rage Create for you guys. And then I'm also pulling cards for you from the Enchanted Dreams Tarot deck from Yasmin Westwood. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so I have to tell you that the image kind of that I got was seeing you guys climbing to the top of the mountain, but you're climbing over bodies. And it felt like you were trying to, like, instead of taking the time to look at the people that have come before or to stop and maybe assist or help or figure out what's going on. It was almost like a rush to the top. And I feel like, not saying that all of you would, just like walk all over everybody to get where you're going. I feel like the message really here for you is about understanding that there's a lot going on this month. And there are a lot of people trying to, with a lot of irons in the fire, that are trying to establish something. There are a lot of people who are trying to get sort of to the same place or the same level of understanding, the same level of clarity, maybe even the same level of compassion. And everyone is taking their own path to get there. And what I keep feeling for you is the message is that you want to take your time with it. Stop and see where other people are at. It's not going to cause you to lose the race if there really is a race at all. In fact, I feel like that's the message. There is no race. Don't rush the ascent. Take your time with the ascent, because the bodies that you're walking over all have something of importance and something of value for you this month. All right, let's see what the theme is. I continuously explore mysterious doors that always lead to more. Okay, so I definitely feel like that's maybe what I'm seeing with this whole morbid sort of body thing. And I'm sorry about the morbid message around it. I don't mean it in that way. And I don't feel that your guides mean it in that way either. But I feel like the mysterious doors are people. That's why we're seeing bodies, the physicality, the humanity of people. And you can learn a lot by observing, watching, participating in the humanity of it all. I continuously explore mysterious doors that always lead to more. I'm definitely feeling that this is a month where obviously you don't need to be a psychic to know that we're all kind of reflecting on the year past, the year that we are wrapping up as we are moving into a new year. And I feel like for you, part of this is like knowing where the bodies are buried and understanding what you're going to be taking with you moving forward and what you're kind of leaving behind, what you no longer want to be participating in and being responsible for. And so I feel like you're seeking out new doors, new people, new expressions of experience, of depth. I feel like a lot of you are really looking for more depth in your relationships, more depth in the journey, and companions on that journey. I feel like for you guys this month, it's all about the journey. Okay, let's see what we got in terms of where you're at presently, where you right now in your transformational journey, what part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving. We've got the Page of Wands here. And so I feel like there's a part of you that is like new passions are being stirred up. It's just the hint of it. It's like just a titch. And you're going, ooh, I don't know if this is a thing. I don't know if this needs to be a thing, but I'm feeling something. What is it that I'm feeling? And I'm getting the impression that right now where you're at, you want to lean into that a little bit more. You want to ask some more questions about why you're feeling what you're feeling. What is it that I'm feeling? Is this stirring because I'm about to give birth to something? Is this stirring because I'm ready to shift in a different direction? Is this stirring because it's time for me to learn something new? I definitely feel, Scorpios, that you guys are going to be on kind of like a fresh new journey. And some of you have been, actively seeking it and choosing it, and others of you maybe aren't expecting it, but it's happening. And, I was just doing a reading for Libra before you guys, and I feel like there was a component of this in their reading too, that for whatever reason in January, not because it's January and, people typically start new things and, fresh leaf and all that jazz. But for you guys specifically, things are going to start really opening up and really happening. There are going to be a lot of opportunities for you to, kind of jump into something and get the ball rolling in January. So I feel like December is putting you in that student space, student energy, so that you get your ducks in a row and are ready to be able to move in and say yes when the opportunities are presenting themselves. What I am hearing about this is understand that you don't want to get too overly confident or overly cocky about working with the passion or working with the fire, working with the energy. Pages get overly enthusiastic. It's like, teaching a child to hold the candle and light the candle for the first time. You have to teach them about the flame first, and that a flame is beautiful. It generates heat, but it can also burn you if you're not, really present with what is transpiring in the now. You can burn yourself out. You can cause harm if you are misusing it. If you're lighting fires in the house, you're going to burn the house down because it can quickly get out of control, right? So I feel like where you're at right now, there's a lot of shifting that is transpiring right now for you, but you want to be really present with each step. And I feel like that's also what I was getting, like, don't rush the ascend, or the ascent. Take your time with it. This is about the steps along the way. And there is fire that you're going to be working with, but you want to be working responsibly with it. And I feel like right now, the tendency might be to be a little more impulsive about it, to dive in and say, oh yeah, I got this. This looks like something I used to do before, so I'm fine. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm a little in over my head. So be a student of it. I feel like that's really important. What's the catalyst that's fueling or hindering your transformation? Is this resistance or rocket fuel? Here we have the Empress. So definitely feeling here like, I was talking about maybe you're like getting ready to give birth to something. The Empress always is, not always, but often is represented pregnant, right? Pregnant pause, getting ready to give birth to a new idea, a gestation period, something new is growing, inspiration, creativity. Definitely feeling here that when we are talking about that catalyst energy, I feel like, Scorpios, this is what you want. Like you're wanting to be pregnant with inspiration. And not to say that you aren't, but I feel like it's coming. But I do feel here that you're waiting for the moment of inspiration before you feel like, oh, okay, I've got a sense of direction. You're feeling a little bit of it here. You're feeling the stirrings of it, but you haven't had the whole hog yet, basically. And I feel like that is going to be the catalyst for you. Is there is going to be something that comes end of December into January. Everything's going to kind of really unfold. It's almost like the Empress, if we follow the analogy of the mother, and trying to get pregnant, you take all of your prenatal vitamins, you create an environment internally within you that is hospitable for carrying a baby, that's inviting. You create an environment in the home that is inviting for baby to come in and, feel loved and, all the things and the stuff. So I feel like the catalyst here is really about you creating the space and the environment to be able to receive the inspiration. Sometimes we get so caught up in the things and the stuff of life that we get bogged down by what I call 3D energy, the dishes and laundry of life. And that doesn't always leave room or make a, kind of be conducive, I guess, to understanding that we have to have room in our heads, in our hearts, in our lives, in our schedules for some downtime, for some stillness time, for some reflection time and meditative time. And that's what I feel is the invitation here. What's the deep root? What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Interesting. So I feel like lack of boundaries for some of you. For others of you, too stringent of boundaries that has caused you to keep other people out when they really were just wanting to help or wanting to be a part of your life, wanting to get to know you or to understand you better. Wow, this is hitting me hard because empathically, I'm feeling, Scorpios, that maybe you aren't even aware that this has been a cycle that or a pattern that you've been engaging in. It doesn't feel like that it's necessarily that you've been doing it your whole life. For some of you, that might resonate. This feels more like the analogy I'll use here is, I feel very strongly in my own personal life. There's been a lot of reflection around when I met my husband, my ex-husband. When I met my now ex-husband, I had just come off of a 3-year, sort of like deep dive to get to know myself. I would call it a big part of my spiritual awakening journey, the hermit's journey of the self-awareness. And I felt very healthy mentally, and I had cut out a lot of like dysfunctional patterning. And over the years, and I'm not saying that it's because of my husband or anything like that, I'm just saying over the years and certain things that have happened in my life, I feel less healthy in that way. And I'm always kind of baffled by that because I'm like, how did I devolve, while I'm still always, every day kind of observing. So that's the analogy that I'll give you here is for some of you, it might be that you've just devolved a little bit into something that you worked hard to kind of heal, which means you're not going to have to go back to square one. It just means, oh, okay, now I'm recognizing that I've fallen into some older patterns that might be really old. That's interesting that they're coming up. Now it's time to address it, right? Now that I'm seeing it. So, don't beat yourself up over this, but I feel like it's important to really pay attention because these are the things that are going on under the surface that I feel are keeping you from really being able to embrace the passion of the new inspiration, the new thought, the new journey. And some of you may be saying to me, in your head as you're watching this, but I did start the new thing and I am feeling really creative. And I would say to you, that's fantastic and wonderful. Along the process, how do you stay in flow? Because your flow will be disrupted because this is the subconscious wound that is playing its part. And I feel that it is a wound. It's not a deep belief that we're talking about here. I do feel that it's triggered by a wound that that you thought you healed, but somehow it's gotten reopened again. So it's seeping. It might not be gaping, but it's seeping. So this Queen of Swords comes through, I feel, because she's trying to point you in a direction. She's trying to get you to see something that you aren't seeing. And so some of you this month may even be experiencing random experiences, random events out and about. I keep seeing the grocery store where you're witnessing other people in their life, in their day to day, and you recognizing while you're watching another person's discussion or downfall or whatever it is, you're seeing in yourself, oh my God, that's how I've been feeling. So I feel like pay attention when you're out and about in the world, because how you're feeling. If you can't narrow down how you're feeling, you're going to be given real life examples that you're going to be able to resonate with and relate to. And then you're going to go, okay, now I understand what is the subconscious trigger. So you're going to be given that information. Quite frankly, whether you want it or not, it's what I'm hearing. So just kind of be prepared for that. What's dying away? What role pattern or identity has run its course? This idea that you always have to be in motion. This idea that everything that you've created up to this point, it's just not good enough. And I keep feeling like the waiting. Sometimes this card, people will say waiting for your ship to come in. I feel like this is almost like waiting for you to feel comfortable in your own skin, or waiting for that time when you feel like, oh yeah, I do feel safe, or I do feel my value and worth here, or I do feel that I'm ready for this. I don't know. There's something happening here where, especially with this and the Queen of Swords and the boundaries and what that's looking like and how that might be holding you back, once you see this, it's really giving you direction on how you can kind of expand forward, and you're not going to have to wait anymore. It's like recognizing, oh, I have been kind of putting my life on hold because I was waiting for something that I didn't even know I was waiting for. But now I'm kind of taking my power back, and I'm giving to myself what it is I've been waiting for, or I'm going out and seeking it myself, or I'm creating it for myself. So I feel like this is very supportive for you at this time, because you're getting rid of the waiting. And it's very much about taking back your power. Also, just really drawn to the threes, right? So we've got 2 3s. We'll see if any more 3s come through. But 3 is about creation, creativity, the wholeness, the Trinity, right? The mind, body, spirit, head, heart, soul, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, if you're of the religious variety. So, the world kind of operates a lot of times in that 3 space and energy. And it really is about creation. And it's also about balance. And I feel like that's kind of an important message that we're exploring at this time. Highest Phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Interesting. So here we have the 8 of Swords. So this is a card of entrapment, but it's also a card of liberation on the other side of it. I'm really drawn to the spider web here, web of creation. Spiders create the web. They weave the web. Yes, it's for their home. Yes, it's to trap food, but also that's what they do. They weave webs. They can walk and form of transportation is their legs. They don't need webs to take them from place to place to place, but it can offer a bridge from one branch to another branch, right? So I feel like when we're talking about highest potential, I feel like it's turning your negative thoughts, or turning those thoughts that are connected to what you haven't got, lack, scarcity, and turning it more now into, how can I make these thoughts work for me? How can I use them to build a bridge to get me to the other side? Because when the bridge is built, now I have a way forward. Now I have a sense of direction. Now I have the path. And even if the path isn't fully formed, I'm forming it on my way. It's an endless supply of resource because it comes from within. And through that, it's liberation from feeling trapped in my own set of circumstances and wanting to run, or wanting to just, throw everything out the window and not have any kind of follow through and move forward into something else that's just sort of, quite frankly, kind of random. This is not, I want to say random. This is not about randomness. This is about intentionality. So I feel like your highest potential is being able to recognize where your thoughts And those boundaries are keeping you from the very thing that you're trying to get to, or the very direction you're trying to find. And it allows you to weave the web that is a bridge where you find that path, or you at least create some semblance of the path, and then the path starts to unfold before you. I feel very heady, very esoteric about that. So forgive me. There's some deep energy in this one. What's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support your next phase? This is the one that's standing out to me. Temperance. Ooh, I love this. So I'm feeling here, I love that there's the justice here flying in, balance, weighing out the scales. I'm really feeling here like I'm stuck on the bridge energy, and I keep seeing like the two jugs of energy, substance, source energy, light, coming together to formulate something new and different. And I feel like the alchemization of what your feelings are, what you've been connecting to this month, are building that bridge. And I keep seeing like fortification of that bridge, fortification, using your feelings and emotions to inform the path that's being created. So Scorpios, I feel like you're on the precipice of something really, really big here. And, it's bigger than the both of us, baby. And I feel like this is the prequel. It's the beginning stages. It's kind of like this is happening before you even know that this other thing is a thing. It's your angels and guides who have a clear vision, like they're holding your divine blueprint. They're holding your soul blueprint in their hands, and they're looking at, okay, she chose this or he chose that. And it looks like it's going to be happening. It looks like this is the path that they're on. So, coming up, we need to be prepared to be able to supply this or that or the other thing. So everyone on call, on guard, we're at the precipice of this. But it's like you in your human form have no idea that this is, what you are opening yourself up to. You have no idea that this is what you're walking into, but you're like right on time. You're right where you're supposed to be. And I feel like the temperance, I also talked to you about like don't rush the ascent. Temperance is balance, tolerance, alignment. It's it comes after the death card. It kind of gives you that let's take a pause, let's take a breather right now and make use of the what we've just lost or what has just shifted or changed, because we're taking the energies of that and blending it to create something that's more aligned with where we're going. And I feel like that's exactly what's emerging around the corner for you. There's something big that's happening, and you have to be building the bridge in order to get there. You're building the bridge right now, not really knowing where exactly it's going to take you, thinking that but it's not actually going to end up, well, it might take you there, but it's going to take you to bigger places. That's just one stop along the way. And I feel like temperance is coming in because it's letting you know that everything that you are coming across this month is happening specifically for a reason, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Trust in the process, but also don't let anything pass you by. Alchemize every feeling, sensation, emotion that comes through, because it's happening, because it's fortifying the bridge. And I don't know any other way to say that. I'm not even getting a vision of how, like, where that bridge is taking you specifically, other than to say I'm drawn to all the rainbow light and the rainbow energy. So I don't have bad feelings about it. I have great feelings about it. But I do definitely feel that what's coming up this month is preparatory. And it's preparatory in a way that you aren't going to know that this is what you were being prepared for until after the fact. And so that's why it feels really big. Wow. Okay. You in this process, your role in the shift. How are you? Oh, Okay. How are I guess that's pretty clear. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? We have two cards for you. So we have a Six of Swords. I love that. And we have the Ten of Wands. So we're going to talk about the Six of Swords. Moving on to calmer shores. This is the travel card. This is the journey card. And so I feel like it's important for you, again, to not rush anything, Scorpio. I feel like that's a huge message. Don't push yourself through this process. Don't try to rush to get to the other side. Don't try to manufacture inspiration. Instead, create the space for the inspiration to then unfold, to create the space for invitation of that inspiration to come. Because at the end of the day, that Ten of Wands is coming up because it is about you releasing burdens. And some of these burdens are things that you aren't even aware of. You're carrying them, you're keeping them, you're using them in your day to day, thinking that they're helping you, but they're actually holding you back. They're creating the burden. What I love about this is the butterfly, the symbol of transformation, is pulling on the cord of all of these wands that she's got placed on her back. Transformation is what is relieving you of the burdens so that you can be lighter and spread your wings and fly. She doesn't remember right now that she has wings. She thinks that these are her wings. She's trying to make these work as wings. They're not wings. They're weighing her down. They helped her for a time. They were rewarding to get to, but now that's not the goal. The goal is something new and something different. And again, it's a bridge, right? The Six of Swords, the boat that is getting you from A to B, the bridge, releasing burdens. So get out of your own way, release these burdens, allow the transformation to take place because it's here for you. It's happening for you. Don't skip a step. Don't rush the process. It's happening in the timing and in the way that it needs to happen. That's what I keep hearing. So much, Scorpios, I feel so much is going to come from this. So much is going to come from this December. I feel like for you guys, you're going to look back in about 8 months' time. You're going to look back on December and you're going to go, oh my God, that's why all of this stuff. Like, I couldn't figure it out at the time. It didn't necessarily make sense. I knew that there were reasons for it. And it wasn't like I felt, completely uncomfortable with it. I was able to navigate it, but it was very confusing. And here, like 8 months later, I feel like you're going to look back on this and you're going to go, oh, I totally get it now. All of that had to happen because now I'm ready for what is, being shown at this time. And now it all makes sense. So that just feels really huge. Yeah, you're on the precipice of some big stuff. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it a positive or a negative influence? So, Queen of Swords, King of Swords. Very interesting. Partnership. Counterparts. I'm feeling here like the King of Swords is here to help you to navigate the waters that the Queen of Swords puts you into. King of Swords is the hand that pulls you out. King energy is leadership energy. It's queens bring order to chaos. Kings sort of, I want to say, actively put out into the world the plan, right? Like, this is the plan, this is the decree, and now I get to oversee what's going on. And, I can tweak this and I can give you what you're needing over here. And I can, everything's kind of running. And I'm just making sure that everything keeps running. So when we're talking about that circle of support, I do feel that it's important for you to lean on people who are thoughtful, who are intelligent in their circle of influence, who are going to give you the truth and who are, I want to say, freed up in a lot of ways to be able to give you the time and the space and the energy that you need in relation to some of this foundation building. So pay attention when you're asking someone for help or support this month. Pay attention to, if they're going to say, oh, I can fit you in, or yeah, give me a minute, give me 10 minutes. I've got to make a few phone calls. I'm hearing that, whatever, I'd love to catch up. And I want to, just let me clear my schedule a little bit. I want to make some serious time, so we've got a couple of hours, so we're not in a rush. Pay attention to that. You want to lean into the people who are making the time for you in that regard, because, and the ones who are thoughtful, in doing so. I'm hearing mentorship as well. So for some of you, there may be finding a new mentor or leaning into a mentor that you've already, sort of established that mentorship relationship in your life. There's going to be a lot of clarity that comes as a result of this. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. I feel like that's another really important message for a lot of you out there, is don't be afraid to ask for help. It's important that you open yourself to receiving that because it takes a village, quite frankly. And we don't always have the answers, and you can be the smartest person in the world and still not know a thing, right? So I feel like this is an invitation to open up your circles of support a little bit, to lean in to that, rather than, okay, I've got people, but everyone's busy, or it's just easier to do it on my own. No, open yourself up to your circles of support. You're going to get a lot of helpful information and intelligent, well thought out information. And for some of you, I feel like that's going to be the best thing ever, because it means you don't have to take the time and the effort and the energy to kind of find all that information out on your own. It's somebody's already done it on, they've already taken care of that. So why not, take advantage of that, especially if they're offering it to you. Save yourself some time. Hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? Wow, lots of swords today, guys. 7 of Swords. Yeah. Feeling like you can't trust yourself. Feeling like you've lost your mojo, you've lost your edge. Also, I feel like when we say can't trust yourself, I feel like that's number one. For some of you, I feel like you really are questioning who you can trust in your life. Yeah, or about this circumstance, whatever this issue is that's coming up for you, whether it's a career path or a relationship, you're really questioning who you can actually trust in this dynamic. And, I'm feeling here like, because of all of the swords that have come up in this reading, this is less about you responding to your emotional space or letting your emotional space inform your choices or influence your choices. And this is more about really taking the time to give thought to every step, not to overthink or overanalyze. I don't feel like that's what it's indicating. I feel like it's saying every step that you are about to take, give yourself an extra day of reflection around it, because there's going to be more that is available to you than if you just kind of move ahead. And some of this may be counterintuitive to who you are and how you normally do things. And I feel like, quite frankly, that's the point. Your angels and guides, your dream team, is really trying to break you out of an unconscious pattern of keeping people at bay, or the opposite, not having solid enough boundaries to know or to understand, who is coming into your space and how they're kind of fucking with your energy, right? So I really feel like this is coming up. Yeah, this is coming up because I feel like it is really about learning to trust yourself, and not from the space of everybody's an idiot, and I would rather just not engage with or interact with others, and I'll just do it myself, because not that I'm going to do it better than everybody else necessarily, but it's just going to be easier on me if I do it. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I feel like the universe is really wanting you to engage, because you are creating space for that inspiration, and you don't know where that inspiration is going to come from. Clearly, you've got a lot of communicators coming up in your month this month. A lot of people with a lot to communicate. Take advantage of that wisdom. Take advantage of that knowledge. But you can't if you're not connecting with others. You can't if you're not opening yourself up or sharing some of the things that are going on, or actively creating space for inspiration. Inspiration comes in all different forms and guises, and from all different places. So I feel like that's what is sort of transpiring here. All right, we are at the outcome of this transformation. If you stay on course, who will you be on the other side of this journey in December? What is the result of embracing the full death and rebirth cycle? Look at that. The sun. I'm hearing that cheesy song, coming out of the dark. I can finally see the light. I don't even know what that song is. Maybe Gloria Estefan, I think. That's the song that I'm hearing for you guys. So, and when we look at some of these cards, they are darker in nature. You've had some lighter cards, but we've got a lot of darker energy. And the sun coming up, it's so bright, and it's that that Leo the lion energy, luscious Leo energy. Truth is revealed, showing your heart. Scorpios, you're very content to be kind of swimming in the depths of things, but you also need the sun. And I feel like that's what's really happening here in December, is the sun energy coming through. I feel like in essence, that's what you've needed all along. You just weren't able to see it because you were maybe isolating yourself, or just staying in the realm of who and what is comfortable. And this is a time now to build that bridge, to get out of that, and to move into a new chapter, a new neighborhood, a new school, a new career path. I feel like that is what is opening up for you. And by the end of December, this is going to be wanted, desired. It's not going to be so like eye rolling for you, because I feel like right now it's a little eye rolling for you. But when you actually get it, you're going to be so freaking happy. You're going to be like, oh my God, this was the thing that I've been working for. And I just didn't even know that was where I was going. So I think I mentioned that too. January is presenting some pretty big things. It's exciting. Take advantage of that. That's what is being opened for you at this time. Whew. Okay, Scorpio. So that is your transformational tarot for this December. If you need some help, you need some support or guidance, you know where to find me. I also would like to say to you that we are in year-end preview season. This is my most popular limited time reading that I do. This is year 10 that I've been offering it. I can't believe that I've been doing it for that long. And basically that your year-end preview for 2026, we have a one-on-one session with each other. I pull a card for every single month of the coming year, 2026, and we get to tap in and see what's coming up for you personally, so that you can plan your year accordingly. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You can look backwards and forwards. I know people who've been doing it, for so many years, they always talk about how they use it almost like a journal experience or a meditation, a tool. Each month they reflect on what happened in the past month, they look ahead to the new month, and then they're of course in the present month, and how all of that is playing out. So if you're interested in that, feel free to click on the link below to book your session. It goes really quickly, so if you really are interested in connecting in that way, I encourage you to book right away, because the sessions book up really quickly. I also have a service called Year in Transformation, which allows you to go even deeper. It's like, what is my soul purpose here? How is is that soul purpose transforming me in 2026, and what do I need to know about that? There's channeling and meditation and questions and cards and all the things and the stuff. So would love to connect with you guys in those ways. Otherwise, until we see you, it's been a wild ride in 2025. It's been great to be connecting with you guys. I wish you happy holidays, however that applies to you, and wishing you a very happy new year. Can't wait to see you in 2026. Take care, and we will see you on the flip side. Transform well.